Hey everybody, welcome to Number the Stars. I'm so excited that you decided to join me on this book club. This is one of my absolute favorite books, and I just couldn't let the year go by without reading it with some of you at least. So, this is the book Number the Stars. I'm going to kind of walk you through a couple of things first so that you know what you're doing, but then I also want to give you some background information on the setting and the characters in the book before you start reading it. Just because it is historical fiction, I want you to understand a little bit about the time period and what was going on during World War II. So please make sure you watch this whole video just to get all the info before you jump into the assignments, okay? This course is going to be super loose. I'm not taking grades, but we are going to do weekly book club meetings on Zoom in hopes that we can kind of enjoy this book together and answer each other's questions and things like that. So let me first walk you through the course. This is unfinished, so it'll look a little different when you're finally looking at it, but I want to kind of walk you through it. The first thing that you're going to do after you watch this video is you're going to choose a literature circle job. There are 5 jobs you can choose from. They're all listed right here. I'm going to give you a little bit of info about each one. All right, so the intellectual inquisitor is number 1. If you choose, let me back up. You get to choose which job. If you want to do more than one job, that's totally fine. I just ask that you do one so that you're prepared to kind of join in with the book club and we can talk about it together. So the first one is intellectual inquisitor. This is if you love to be a leader and if you love to ask questions. What you do for this job is you write down 5 questions that we can use to discuss about the text. I'll add some samples in there so that you have some to go with. The second job is this purposeful painter job, and that job, I see a lot of you liking this job, but you choose one scene from the text and you draw it or paint it or craft it, whatever you want to do. That's kind of the artistic job. So whatever you want to do there to draw the scene of one of the parts of our book. Literary electrifier is the next job over there. If you choose that job, you will choose 2 important passages to share with the group. So you'll read the chapters for the week. This week it's 1 through 4, and you will just pick 2 passages that really stuck out to you, whether they were scary or sad or funny or confusing or just important to the plot. And then you'll bring up those passages during our reading discussion. Next one is linking leader. This is for any of you history buffs or people who love to make connections. This is all about making connections. So as you read, you will find, I didn't put the number, but you'll find 2 spots in the text that connect to either you in your own life or part of history that you've already learned about and that you know about, or maybe current events. Like maybe some of it relates to what we're going through in the world right now. So that would be linking leader. Next up, we have destination diagrapher. Oh my goodness, diagrapher. I can't say that word. This is kind of an interesting job. What you do here is you choose one chapter in the book. So 1, 2, 3, or 4 for this time, and then the other chapters that we go through on the other weeks. But you'll choose one chapter to do, and you will draw a map of where the characters go. So you might, like in the first chapter, they're running down a street and then they go to their home, right? So you would draw that whole map of like where the school is, where their home is, where some businesses that they talk about are, and you would draw lines to show where they're going and in what order. So that's kind of cool if you have that map brain and want to do that. I do not care which one you choose. Normally, I assign these jobs. So, like future years, I'll assign jobs. But for this one, this is optional and we're doing e learning anyway. So, you go ahead and jump in and just choose one of those to do or more if you want to. So, once you choose your job, you're going to come down here. And it's really important, guys, that like the first time, like as soon as you're watching this video, I want you to fill out this survey because this will help me make a meeting for our Zoom meeting. So, what you need to do is put your name, choose the job that you're choosing. If you want to choose more than one, then just click more than one. It'll let you do that. Okay, so let's say I want to do both of those. I could click both. This is the part that's really important. I want to find one Zoom meeting time. We're not meeting all of these times. That would be insane. But I want to choose one per week that we can get together and we can meet to talk about what we've read and ask questions, and we can show what we've done for our jobs and all of that. So here's the really important part though. You need to select all of the possible times that would work. So let's say you're available at 9 a.m. every day. You would select 9 a.m. every day. And then maybe you're available at 10 a.m. on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You would select all of those. And then you're also free at 1 on Tuesday and Thursday. you're free at 2 every single day, and you're never free at 5 p.m., then that's how that would look. Okay. If you're free literally all the time, you're like, I got nothing going on, then check all the boxes. That's totally okay. All right. So I just want to know when we're available so I can pick a time that works for everybody and we can all get together and meet. And then this is just if you have any other questions for me. So make sure you submit that survey. And guys, I'm not kidding. Like if you're watching this video on Monday, go submit that survey on Monday, because the sooner you guys get that in, the sooner I can pick a time for our Zoom meeting. Okay. Next up, just a little bit more info. Here is the link to the book. It'll take you to this page. If this link doesn't work, send me a message as soon as you can so that I can get that figured out too, because I want to make sure you guys have the text to read. Okay, it's taking forever, but I already have it loaded over here, so I'm going to switch it. So this is not the entire book. I have to find another link for the end of the book, but it's enough to get us started. Here's the cool thing about this is some teacher before me, I got to give credit to somebody else, scanned in the pages. So you'll see like chapter 1, they have an essential question. This is the title of the chapter, but they scanned in the pages. So it looks just like the inside of my book. It's pretty cool. But then they also added some pictures to kind of help you with background knowledge and setting and things like that. So chapter 1 takes place at Osterbrigade Street, which I'm going to show you pictures of in a second, but they have a picture of what this street looks like in modern day. And then it goes through and there's soldiers on the corner. So here's a picture of what those soldiers looked like. I think the next picture is like a statue that is in Denmark, which is where the story takes place. So you will read all the way through to chapter 4. It is not all the pages. Please don't panic. It's like 89 pages on here. We're not doing all that this week. Just chapters 1 through 4 is what we're doing this week. So that's how you access the text. And then the last part I want you to know about is just the group discussion that we're going to have throughout the week. You can click this button at the bottom of the page to get there. Oh, it wants to save my survey. I don't need to save my survey. Man, we're running slow today. Okay, when this pops up, this discussion is here for you guys to ask questions about things that you don't understand, to ask about words that you don't understand. This text has some words that we can figure out from context, but they're going to be new words for you. And so if there's a word that you're like, I don't know what this means, put it in the discussion and we can help you out with that. You can write about parts that are surprising to you or interesting, or parts that you're worried about or concerned about. And then this last bullet right here is really important. You guys can respond to each other. So let's say one of you is like, I'm on page, oh, by the way, it says this right here. Be specific. If you have questions about things, include your chapter and your page number so that we know what you're talking about. But maybe you're like, on page 8, I saw this word incident and I don't know what it means. Can you guys help me out? Post that there. Then let's say another one of you gets on and you're like, oh, I know what that means. Then you can type to each other. So I want this to be a discussion between you guys. You don't just have to wait for me to respond. You can help each other out. Okay. So that's it for the Canvas page. It's going to be pretty low key. I want your main time to be spent reading the text and working on your job. But this discussion is here for you to just ask questions if you have them. All right. That's all the logistics. Now let me give you a little bit of background on this book. So first of all, Lois Lowry is the author of this book, and she is one of my absolute favorite authors. A lot of her books are for older kids. So like when you're in middle school, check her out. She's awesome. But this book is great for us. So this book is about a girl named Anne Marie and her best friend Ellen. And you're going to read about them right away on the first page. All right. We've got Anne Marie's little sister, Kirsty, and then she's got a mama and a papa, and then a sister that you're going to read about named Lise, who is her older sister. This is a family. And then we're also going to read about her best friend, Ellen, is a really important character in the book. Anne Marie and Ellen live in Denmark, specifically in the capital of Denmark, which is Copenhagen. And so let me show you. I pulled up Google Earth here to be able to show you. This is Europe, so you might recognize some countries like Ireland, France. Spain is over, oops, it's not dragging. Spain is over here. We got Germany, Norway, United Kingdom is England. We've got Ireland. So that's kind of where we are on the map. Here, this tiny little country right here is Denmark. And then this is the capital of Denmark, which is Copenhagen. And I am going to zoom in, if it'll take me there. Yep, it's going to zoom me right in to downtown Copenhagen, which is where our characters live. Now, if we click here, I believe this is Oosterbrogade. Oh, it worked earlier. Let me go ahead and hit search here. But this is where she lives, and it's important to know where she lives because of two things. Number one, they don't speak English there. And so a few places in the text, you're going to come across things that you're like, that's not something I'm used to. I want to go ahead and show you a couple of those just so you know. Oops, man, this computer's running pretty slow, guys. First, Copenhagen right there, that is the city that they're living in. So that's a word you may have trouble with. This one right here, see that O? You're going to see a lot of O's with a cross through it. That's because it's Danish. It comes from the language of Denmark. And so Oosterbrogade is the name of a street that they are running down. It's this one right here that we see in the picture. You're also going to see this right here. Whenever something is in a different language, the author wants us to know that that's happening, and so they put it in italics, which are those slanted languages. So this right here is German. The German soldier is yelling, halt, and so that is a German word. You're going to see that in other pages too. One that I'm thinking of is they talk about the Free Dansk, which I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, which means the Free Danes, and that's the name of a newspaper that they're reading. And when you see those words, they're going to be in italics. So anytime you see words like that, you know, oh, I think this is in a different language. The author always gives us context clues so that we can figure out exactly what language we're talking about. Okay, so that's one thing to look out for. And the most important thing I think that you guys are going to need to know is that the time of this setting. And in Denmark, during the time period that this was, they were in the midst of World War II. And World War II was the war specifically where Germany was taking over other countries. You may have heard of a man named Hitler. Hitler was kind of leading the charge, and he was sending out Germany to kind of take over the countries around Germany. And so here's a picture actually. Oh, I wonder if I can zoom in on that. Yep, it's letting me. And these are, let me move my face. These are what we call the Ally powers and the Axis powers. We read a little bit about that in social studies, but the Ally powers are ones that were against Germany. They hadn't been taken over by Germany at all. The Axis powers are the ones that either Germany is like partners with or the ones that Germany has taken over. And so this is Germany right here. Here you see Denmark. See how close it is to Germany? And it's a small country, and they had been taken over by this German forces. And so in Anne Marie and Ellen's world, what happens is they're coming home from school and they see German soldiers on the corner who are there to make sure that things are exactly as they want them to be. So that's why we see German soldiers there, is because Germany had taken over these other countries during World War II. The other piece of this to know is Hitler and his powers, they had, the soldiers were called the Nazis, and they really believed that some people were better than others. And one of the groups of people that they targeted were people who were Jewish. And so they, like we have different religions. We have Judaism, we have Christianity, we have Islam, and so there's different religions that people, what would you say? Respect, are, believe in. And so he picked out people who were Jewish and didn't believe that they were as good as everybody else. Now, as other times in history that we've learned about, that's never the right option, right? Never. But it was the reality at this time. And so I think it's in chapter 3 where you're going to start to notice that people who are Jewish are being targeted. Businesses are shutting down if they're run by Jewish owners. And things are starting to affect people in the story who are Jewish. And one of our main characters is Jewish, and so we're going to kind of see how that impacts her life. Okay, so that's a ton of information, I know, but go ahead and jump into the text. actually first fill out that survey and then jump into the text. And guys, seriously, this is such a good book and I think you're going to love it. But if you're confused about things, don't give up. Just stick it in that discussion so we can talk about it and so we can all enjoy this book together. All right. Have fun, my friends. And I'll talk to you soon.